Hi students, last time we saw up to when the king called the bricklayer to be punished because the bricklayer had built a poor wall. This is what the foolish king judged, and he asked the soldiers to summon the bricklayer. So before the king could order the execution, the poor bricklayer pleaded. Pleaded means what? Requested. Please listen to me before you give your orders. The bricklayer says this to the king. It is true, I built this wall, but it was no good. But that was because my mind was not on it. So the bricklayer accepts, yeah, I did not build the wall properly, strongly. Why? Because my mind was not good. My mind was not on it, on the wall, on building the wall. I didn't focus. What was the cause? What was the destruction? I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down that street all the day with her anklets jingling. Anklets means ornaments girls usually wear on their ankle. So the anklets were jingling, making noise, and I couldn't keep my eyes or my mind on the wall I was building. That was the destruction. The bricklayer blames the dancing girl. You must get that dancing girl. I know where she lives. You are right. The case deepens. So this moves on to another, and the blame game goes on. We must look in we must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get that dancer wherever she is. Who says this? The king says this. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. Trembling means what? Shivering to the court. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? Yes, my lord. See this. The dancing girl still remembers. Yes, my lord. I remember it very well. So you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. You were young and you distracted him. Distractions diverted his mind. So he built a bad wall. It has fallen on a poor burglar thief, and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. Burglar is considered innocent. You'll have to be punished. She thought for a minute and said, my lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel, lazy man, lazy, stupid goldsmith. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then. So he made a lot of excuses. So he delayed in giving the jewels to me on time, and so on all day. I had to walk up and down. He made me walk up and down to his house a dozen times. That was when this bricklayer saw me. It's not my fault, my lord, it is the damned goldsmith's fault. So Dancing Girl blames goldsmith. Poor thing. She is absolutely right, thought the king, weighing the evidence. We have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once. So the king's bailiffs means what? Officers of the court searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. What he said, "My lord," he said, "I am a poor goldsmith. It is true. I made this dancer came many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's orders. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are." So he blames a rich man who gave um, jewels to make. "Who is this rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry? Made her walk up and down, which distracted this bricklayer, which made a mess of his wall, which has now fallen on an innocent man." Again, he calls the burglar innocent man and killed him. Can you name him? The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house. So it just came around. It is a circle whose wall had fallen. Now justice had come full circle. So again the blame comes on to the merchant. So the king thought back to the merchant. When he was rudely summoned, when he was brought, the merchant was brought back to the court, he arrived crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry is dead. I am innocent." So the father ordered the jewels for his son's wedding. Now the father is no more. So the son says, "I am innocent. I don't know. I have nothing to do with this." But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. Decisively means he decided, uh, he made a conclusion. "It's true, your father is the true murderer. He is dead. But somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited everything from that criminal father of yours. You have gained everything from your father, his riches as well as his sin. His rich as you enjoy his riches, his possessions, his wealth, you have to take part in his sins as well. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die." And he ordered a new stake. Stake is some like guillotine to be made ready for the execution, for the punishment. As the servants sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling, impaling means by fixing on the sharp stake of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed. So the stake, the machine would not fit him on the stake. So he appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. "What shall we do?" he said, when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would fit the stake. And their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on banana and rice and wheat and ghee. So look at the foolish king. In order to punish the criminal, he finds someone who is fat enough to fit in the stake. So the king's officers brought the disciple to the court, and the disciple pleads, "What have I done wrong? I am innocent. I am a sannyasi." Sannyasi is one who denies everything, renounces everything, and follows God's ways. He cried, "That may be true, but it is the royal decree, the law." Decree means law, that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake, they said, and carried him to the place of execution. He remembered his wise guru's words, "This is a city of fools. You don't know what they would do next." While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. The guru saw everything in a vision. Vision means sight, perception. He had a power to see what happened to his disciple. He had magic powers. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past all through. He arrived at once to save his disciple who had got himself into such a scrap, such trouble through love of food. Since he loved to eat, he got into trouble. He did not even listen to the Guru earlier. As soon as the Guru arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. A whisper is a low. Uh, whisper is a In a low voice he talked to the disciple. Then he went to the king and addressed him, "O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple?" Who is greater, the Guru or the disciple? The king says, "Of course, the Guru, no doubt about it." "Why do you ask?" "Then put me to the stake first. Put my disciple to death after me." Look at the Guru, how wise he is. So, the Guru is superior to the disciple. So, the Guru should be put to death first. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor. Clamor means to stun with noise, to to stay. To start something, talking loudly. "Me first!" he shouted. "Me first! You brought me here first. Put me to death first, not him." The Guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by his behavior. The king was not able to understand why this was happening, and he asked the Guru, "Why do you want to die? We chose the disciple because we needed a fat man for the stake. You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to death first," replied the Guru. "Why? There's some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you?" the Guru asked. The king gave him his solemn word, his serious, impressive word. What he said? The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot distance and whispered to him. What he whispered? "Do you know why we want to die right now? The two of us? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is the stake of the God of justice. So you have built a new stake. This is considered to be the God of justice. It is new. It has never had a criminal on it. You have not punished any criminal with the new stake. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of this country. This was the trick that the Guru plays. And whoever goes next will be the future minister of this country. We are sick of our ascetic life. Ascetic life means religious life, self denial, ascetic life. One who denies everything, all is self, in order to follow the footsteps of God, in search of God. So it would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my Lord, and put us to death, but me first remember. Hmm? Since I told you the truth, you have promised that you would kill me first and then my disciple. So remember your words. The king was now thrown into deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life, in the next life as well. He didn't want to lose his kingdom to someone else. He wanted to rule himself. So he needed time. So he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked in a secret with his minister. So the king called all his ministers and talked to them. It's not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves and will be reborn as king and minister again. Look at the foolish king, how he thinks. He did not want to give up the kingdom and he wants to die himself as well as the ministers. Holy men do not tell lies. So those guru and disciple are holy people and they don't usually tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. So he told the executioners, those who would kill them, punish them, we will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first, then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistake. This is what the king orders those executioners to do. So try to understand how the guru plays trick in order to save his disciple. I hope until here it is clear. The rest of it can be seen tomorrow. If you have any doubts, you can clarify with me in the class. Thank you.